Oh.
Yes, hello friends, Matt Burns here, and today I'm going to show you 10 lo-fi drum patterns. We've done a deep dive. This is a feel we hear a lot in lo-fi music. Hip-hop producer Jay Dilla pioneered this feel with his unquantized drum program. These uneven-sounding beats influenced the playing of hip-hop drummers such as Questlove, Chris Dave, and my personal favorite, Daru Jones. This beat is really characterized by the hi-hats, which sway between straight and swung eighth notes. This creates a sort of tension and release, and a nice bit of rhythmic friction between the other voices in the groove. What you get is this greasy feel that really stands out. Pattern number 2, the affection groove. So my student Jack showed me this one. Shout out to Jack. This groove can be heard on the popular lo-fi track Affection by Ginseng, and it has a total boom bap feel. I actually talk a little bit about the boom bap production style in my 10 popular drum patterns video, so feel free to check that out in the link above. This pattern is super funky. It has a raw vibe and is easily looped. It's going to sound great in an instrumental context or under a rap verse. Pattern number 3, straight and swung. Bud. Pattern number 5, soul vibe. Pattern number 6, ABAC, or a band.
Sweet music to my ears.
With this groove, we're focusing on the concept of the 4-bar phrase. The A's are the same main beat, but B and C are 2 different variations. This is a cool concept that you can actually experiment with in a variety of different ways, using any of the beats from this video. With most popular music, we're used to hearing 1-bar drum loops. Lo-fi producers, however, are
His gum gets so hard, so fast. What? Why can't I record? All of a sudden my record button doesn't work anymore. Wow. I was really off. Oh. Why am I on 30-second notes? Holy shit. What, am I supposed to be like that? Oh, oh, shit. Wrong button. Alright. Okay, so these were right. Shit. Why am I choking? Oh, look at that. You just fill it in. I can't. I can't adjust. I might have to add a support beam under my desk. Why are there so many different... I don't like that sound anymore. Wait. Yeah, take that out of there. Wait, why did it completely change? Oh, it's over here. It's this one. just want the attack from that. A little bit loud now. Ooh. I don't know. I need to add some stuff to it. I feel like that's kind of. And then. I don't know about that either. I'm going to spend a whole entire evening just building a drum kit and then not like it tomorrow. set this up with a drum map thing instead of... Ooh, boy.
a preset. So for example, I can click this here and I have different options here. So if your drums are not here really, then you need to either find it maybe in some forums or show you how you do it. So first of all, I have a MIDI to USB cable here, but you can use MIDI to MIDI and connect that to your audio interface if you have such a connection. So that's something I'm going to show you in a moment. But before that, if you go to the user interface, you'll see that you have map. So select map, you'll see all the mappings here. So you can do this manually depending on your drums, and you need to read the user manual of the specific drums that you have, or you can load a preset. So for example, I can click this here and I have different here and
Oh, fuck. Come on.
a preset. So for example, I can click this here and I have different options here.
Where are the... This is not what I'm looking for. This is like super old. I've got...
To our song, and we're really going to be listening to the bass or anything like that. So that's a really cool thing about this. Turn down a little bit.
I don't remember. How to load. Did that work? I think it worked. Yeah, of course everything's everywhere, but I think I can just, oh no, that doesn't work. How do I, is there like a shift drag or something? Control drag. Oh my god, okay. Kick. Snare, side center click, rim shot. How do I move that over so I can see the whole name? What the shit? Why can't I adjust that? This is not going to be any different for most of the hi-hats. Well, not most of the hi-hats, but the hi-hats that I'm currently using. I wonder if I can save this as a drum map or something. Oh god. Where's the China? Where's the other China? China edge and China choke are way down there. Okay. Tip edge choke. So I can have different types of snare hits in here. How do I save this as a drum map so it's laid out like this? I don't understand how I'm supposed to save this myself. Wait, is that it? don't think it's gonna be there. I think it's just gonna be. I mean, it's there now, so. Why is the record button not working all of a sudden? That's not right. Am I pushing the wrong button? Why did it do that? Why didn't it? If the fucking lanes are on, why didn't it record it? What the fuck is fucking stupid? I don't know how to make it fucking. This is a very basic thing, I know that, but I don't know how to do it. And it took away the little takes shit that I didn't want, and it won't fucking go away, so I'm just trying to embrace it, and it doesn't work. It still fucking just did it over top of it.
project setup here, I want to add a drum part to it using programmed drums. But luckily, we don't have to use just samples or loops. We can use samples from loops. That's what I'm going to show you in this video, how we can cut up our loops and create samples from them. So let's hear what this sounds like. I want to add a drum part to it. So create a new track, go to the top, name it drums. I'm going to put it into record, make sure it's set up for MIDI input. So I play the MIDI controller down here, it shows up on the track. Then I'm going to change the record mode to be record MIDI overdub right here. This way if we record multiple passes, we won't erase the previous pass, like a drum machine. Then I'm going to make it so it quantizes on the input. Right click over here, go to track recording settings, input quantize, and change it to 16th notes, and turn it on right here. So it'll quantize on the way in. So now we need to add a plugin to play our samples. So go to the effects on this track, go to the Reaper effects, and choose Resample-matic 5000, which is a sampler that comes with Reaper. Double click it, and it looks like this. Now we're going to find some samples. So go to the View menu, Media Explorer, which opens up the Media Explorer, where we can go through our hard drive and find any loops stored there. I set up a folder right here with some loops I want to go through. I don't really care for any of these loops, but I still like some of the sounds within them. So what we could do is start off with a kick and find a loop that we like the kick for. I think I like this one. So we can go over here and zoom in, hold that control on the PC, command on the Mac, and drag up to zoom in, and just highlight the kick. Make sure you just have the kick, which you could trim on each side, the left and right side. We're happy with it, we could use this sample. And we could bring this in by right-clicking and go to Insert into Sample Player and reuse the active sample player, which is the one we're using right here. This one is active. But instead, I created a toolbar button right here. It's going to insert into the active sample player. And I added an icon right here, so it looks like this. So I can just hit this button, and it adds the sample into the active sample player, which is this one. So now, you just have the kick right here. And if we play a MIDI keyboard, it triggers that sample on all the keys. We probably don't want that. So I'm going to hit the key I want it on, C2, and then double click Note Start, and it sets it up. It's just that key is going to trigger that sound. The other ones don't. I'm going to rename this instance by hitting F2 to kick. This will make it easier to remember which sample goes with each plugin. Then we're going to duplicate this instance, copy paste. We'll name this one snare, and find a snare sample. Go back to the Media Explorer, find a snare we like. I kind of like this one. We'll zoom in again, control on the PC, command to the Mac, drag it up. Right here. Get a bit closer, make it perfect. Make it longer. And again, with it selected, just hit this button. Now it's set up in here. We'll give it a different key by hitting D2. Double click. Now the snare is D2. doing this for every sample we want. Copy paste. Name this one clap. Let's find a clap we want. Kind of like this one. Zoom in. Perfect. Hit the toolbar button. And it adds it right here. Hit a different key. I'll do E2. Now we have 3 sounds. Let's make this a bit louder. Sounds good. Also, let's tune it down a bit. Bit too much. Perfect. Now let's add a hi-hat. Copy paste. Rename it. Go to the Media Explorer and find a hi-hat we like. Kind of like this one. Again, we'll zoom in. Hit that toolbar button. And it's added in here. Give it a different key. Make it a bit louder. Pan it to the left. Let's remove the pitch change from the clap. We could also shorten this with the sustain and the decay. We want it shorter. I think that's better. Then let's add an open hat. And we could use the same sample. Copy and paste. Rename it open hat. Go to the Media Explorer. And we'll use the same sample. There's an open hat in here. Right here. Make it a bit longer. Perfect. Use sampler. Give it a different key. Perfect. Now we're ready to program a beat. And because I set up MIDI overdub over here, we can record this like a drum machine. I can record the kick, snare, and clap in one pass, and the hi-hat in another, like this. Sounds good. If we want to edit the part, we double click it, which opens up the MIDI editor, where we can see all our notes. Our kick, snare, clap, hi-hat, and open hat. And we can adjust our notes, change them right here, and also mix it right in here. Just the volume of our kick, snare, clap, hi-hat from here, along with the panning and our tuning if we want. So as you can see, we can get much more creative instead of just using our drum samples by creating samples out of loops that we like, without having to choose the whole loop and its part completely, just using different drum sounds within it. So that's pretty much it. That's creating samples from loops in Reaper. I hope you learned something, hope you could use it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bingo, boys, let's go.
Now in a previous video, I showed you how to create drum samples out of loops by using Resamplematic 5000, which is the sampler that comes with Reaper. we created one for kick, snare, clap, hi-hat, and open hat. And it sounded like this. Using MIDI, we programmed that looks like this. But in this video, I want to show you how to create multiple outputs for those samples, so you can process them separately, giving us much more control over volume and other effects. Let's go back to our samples, and the way to do this is to create multiple channels on this track. Now we could put these plugins on separate tracks, but then we wouldn't have MIDI all on one track, which is what I prefer to do, at least for drums. So I prefer to set up multiple channels on this track and send it to other tracks for processing. And we can do that by making this track a multi-channel track. Right now, if we go to the routing, we can see it's just 2 channels on this track. And we can change that right from these plugins. If we go to the pin connector on the kick sampler, right over here, we can see there's just 2 channels. We can change that to be any amount of channels we want. But for us, let's use 1 and 2 for the kick, so it's stereo. You could do mono if you want, 3 and 4 for the snare, 5 and 6 for the clap, and 7 and 8 for both of the hi-hat samples, as we don't need those separated. Of course, you could if you want. So they'll share those outputs. So go back to the kick, go to the pin, set it to 8 channels, and leave it set to 1 and 2 for our kick. Then for the snare, we'll change it by clearing it to be 3 and 4. Do the same for the clap, reset it, and we'll change it to be 5 and 6. And then finally, the hi-hats, we'll make them 7 and 8 for both. So again, they're going to share 7 and 8. So process them together. So if we play our track, we still hear the kick coming through this track. And we don't want that. So if we go to the routing, just take it out of the master pair and send. Now we're not going to hear our kick or any of these samples from this track. Although we still see them on our meters. So I don't need to send them to other tracks. So let's create some new tracks. We'll make 4 and name them kick, snare, clap, and hi-hat. And now we'll send audio from my drum track to these tracks. Let's select all these, hold in the shift key, drag the routing, and drop it on these tracks. And that creates multiple sends from our drum track to all of these tracks. Kick, snare, clap, and hi-hat. But it's sending the audio from 1 and 2 to 1 and 2. That's okay for the kick, but for the snare, it needs to be 3 and 4. For the clap, it needs to be 5 and 6. And for the hi-hats, it needs to be 7 and 8. Are we separated before in the effects plugins? So now, it should be separated and sent to these tracks. Notice it sounds the same. You can saw the kick. We're just getting the kick. Or the snare. Or the clap. Or the hi-hat. But now, you can process these sounds completely separately. Like for the kick, notice I'm hearing a bit of shaker in the kick. Because it came from a loop with a shaker in it. You can filter that out a bit by using an EQ. And it's not going to affect the other tracks. Our snare, clap, and hi-hats, it's just going to affect the kick. So we add an EQ just for the kick. Let's change this to low pass and filter out the top end. Maybe boost the low end. sounds better. Maybe for the hi-hat, you want to brighten it up. Let's say an EQ to the hi-hat. Maybe for the clap, you want to add a delay. So a delay plugin to this. I like to use the ping pong delay. Make it faster. Maybe we want to put it every other hit. We could automate it. We're changing the automation mode to right. And just automate the bypass. Now it works on every other hit. Put it back to trim read. But more importantly, now we can mix it with our mixer right in here. But first, I like to separate these tracks for the track control panel and the mixer, which we could do by going to the view menu and going to the track manager. And we can change our drums to just be in the track control panel, as we don't need to see it in the mixer, as we're not going to mix the volume using this track. We're just going to use it for MIDI. In fact, let's rename it MIDI. Then the individual tracks, we'll take them out of the track control panel, so they just show up in the mixer. As we don't need to see them in here. We just need to see this track, and we can edit our MIDI. If we want to mix our drums, we can do that from the mixer. And we're just going to see the individual drum tracks in here, along with the loop. We're not going to see the MIDI track. So we can remix it from here. So we're done mixing, just close this, we're back to working in here. Want to edit our drums, open up the MIDI editor, and close it when we're done. Want to mix our drums again, open up the mixer. So we're just seeing the info we need to see at that moment, which we could do by separating the outputs of each one of our samples in here. So now they're coming from each separate track. Our kick, snare, clap, and hi-hats. So that's pretty much it. That's creating multiple outputs for samples in Reaper. I hope you learned something, hope you could use it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bingo, boys, let's go.
Now right over here to our left is known as the track control panel. And the width of it, or how wide it sits on our screen, can be adjusted. We could grab this line right here, make it bigger or smaller, or even hide it completely. If we just want to see our media without seeing the tracks on the side. And to get it back, put a cursor over here, notice the line, and drag it out to the size we want. So it's completely adjustable. And we could also put it on the right side of our screen. If we right click down here in the empty area, we could choose Show Track Control Panel on right side of Arrange, or the arrangement window. Choose this, and it puts it over here. But again, we could adjust how wide it is, like this, or hide it completely, or pull it out to the size we want. And to put it back, just right click down here again, and turn this option off. And it puts it back on the left side of our screen. We could also adjust it using double click. We go right here where the line is highlighted. If we double click it, it's going to hide it to the left side. Go back over here and double click it again, it unhides it, or puts it back to the original size. But what you might not realize is it's not really hiding and showing, it's actually toggling between two different positions or sizes. So if I double click it and then drag it out to a different size, maybe smaller like this. Now if I double click it, it jumps back to this size, hit it again, it goes to this size. So it's really toggling to two different positions or sizes, not necessarily showing and hiding. If we want it to show and hide again, just put it over here, now double click it, it jumps to this position, double click it again, now it completely hides it. So it can toggle from show and hide or two different sizes, just by adjusting the second size, double click it, and it goes back to the first size. There's also actions that work with this. If we go up here to the actions menu, show action lists, and type into the filter, track control panel, area. And there's two actions we should know. The first one is going to toggle it to show and hide. So if you have it set up to two different sizes, it's going to erase the other size. So no matter what, if we choose this, it's going to hide it. Choose it again, it's going to show it. Back to the same size we had it. So that's going to erase the A-B positioning. So if you had two sizes you were toggling between, this is going to delete one of them and replace it with hiding it completely. But we can assign a keyboard shortcut to this if we want to do this without having to open up this window. Or we could use this option, which is going to toggle between two sizes again. Now right now, it's going to hide it and show it, but again, you put it to hide and choose a different size, maybe something like this. Now if we choose this action instead, or assign a keyboard shortcut to it, it's going to toggle between the two different sizes we set up, bigger or smaller. But again, if we use this action at any point, it's going to undo that second size and replace it with hiding it completely. Show it or hide it. But assigning keyboard shortcuts to this is more efficient than using screen sets. Although, we can still use screen sets if we want more flexibility. So let's go to the View menu and go to our screen sets or layouts. If we go under the tab for Windows, here we could save our screen sets, which is going to save the size of the track control panel as well as all the other windows on our screen. Or if we save this one, let's name it normal. We can now adjust this to a different size. Let's hide it completely and save this one here. Let's save another one that goes between the two. Maybe something like this. We'll name it mid-size. Now we have three sizes that are saved. We have normal, hide, and mid-size, which we could assign keyboard shortcuts to. By default, they're F7 through F9, but of course, we could change these in here. But doing it this way, it's even more flexible, as we could hide it completely, make it normal size, or mid-size, or any sizes we want to save. But if we don't want to waste all these keyboard shortcuts to do this, just use the other option. Either assign a keyboard shortcut to one of these, or just double-click over here. And it'll toggle between hiding and showing. And we could save each size just by dragging it out to the size we want to toggle. So now it toggles between this size and this size, just by double clicking that line. So that's pretty much it. That's adjusting the track control panel with in Reaper. I hope you learned something, hope you could use it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bingo, boys, let's go.
The next action I want to show you is a custom trim to start and end. I have a project in front of me here, but I want to trim the left side and the right side to get rid of any noise. Now we could do this with razor editing, create a razor edit over here for our drums, delete it, do the same for the bass and guitars, and do the same at the end for the drums and the bass and guitars. And that's pretty quick. But we could do it even quicker using some custom actions. So custom trim, start, and end. So let's go the actions menu, show action list, and type into the filter, move edit cursor to mouse cursor. This is the action we want to use. Create new action, new custom action, and we'll add to it trim left edge of item on the mouse to edit cursor, move this over here, and we'll give it a name, and save it. And it shows up right here. Let's duplicate it for the right side, edit this one, rename it, get rid of this one, trim right edge of item on the mouse to edit cursor, and now we have those two custom actions, trim left and trim right. And we'll add a keyboard shortcut to each. I'm going to use A for the left side, and F for the right side. So now, we just put our mouse where we want to trim the left side, type the keyboard shortcut, and it trims that much. Do the same with our snare, the overheads, go to our bass, and our guitars, and it trims them perfectly based on where we place the mouse. And for the other side, the right side, just use the other key. Over here, here, and here, and for the bass and guitars. Just like that, we trimmed our project. And we could also add split within it. We could split right here, type in the S key to split it, and the other key to trim the left side, to clean it up even more. I just think this is a bit quicker to clean up our audio like this, using those two custom actions for the left side and the right side, just like this. Hope you learned something, hope you could use it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bingo, boys, let's go.
The next action I want to show you is called Solo in Front. I have a project in front of me here with a guitar loop, kick, and drum loop. Let's hear it. And to hear each track separately, we could use the solo button right here. Just the guitar loop, just the kick, or just the drum loop. But if you notice, we're just hearing those tracks. We're not hearing any of the other tracks, which is how solo works. But we could also just hear a bit of those other tracks, and that's called solo in front, where the track we solo is in front, but we're still hearing the other tracks, just lower. And we can turn that on if we go to the options menu and choose this option, solo in front. And now, if we solo our tracks, we're still going to hear the other tracks just a bit lower. Solo the kick, notice this D button shows up, letting us know we're dimming this track, not turning it off. Notice Notice how we hear the guitar loop and the drum loop just a lot lower. If we solo the drum loop, we still hear the guitar loop and the kick, but again, much lower. And how much lower is set in the preferences. Control P on the PC, Command comma on the Mac. If we choose mute solo, right over here is the setting for solo in front dimming. It defaults to -18, but we can change it to any setting we want. Let's change it to -8 to make it more obvious. So now, if we solo the kick, these other tracks are going to be -8 lower. But we still hear them. So this, so we can still hear our tracks in context, with the other tracks much lower. But the best part of this feature is we can adjust the dim level on the fly. If we go to our actions, show action list, and type in solo in front, there's an action right here to adjust the solo in front dim. And we can do it with the mouse wheel or any fader or knob on a MIDI controller. I'm going to use the mouse wheel and set it with a whole bunch of modifiers. So now we can use that keyboard shortcut to adjust the dimming level. Let's solo the kick and lower it completely. And we just hear the kick. Now we can bring it up slowly to taste. Try the same thing with the drum loop and adjust it on the fly. Or the guitar loop. So we adjust it completely on the fly based on the soloing we're doing. So we can hear the track in context with all the other tracks just dimmed, not completely muted. And when you want the old way, just turn it off right here. We're back to soloing normal. Hope you learned something. Hope you could use it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bingo, boys, let's go.
The next action I want to show you is viewing the master track effects. Now I tend to use a lot of effects on my master track or my 2-bus, but I also like to keep a lot of room in my range window, so you don't see the master track all the time. So if I want to see the effects on the master track or add some, I have to go up here to the view menu and choose master track. And here's the master track for this project, and then go to the effects right here to either add some or tweak the ones already on here. As you can see, I'm using a few. But a quicker way is using a keyboard shortcut and an action. This way, we don't have to view the master track. We can keep it hidden. We'll just see the effects on the master track. And we can find this action if we go to the actions menu, show action list, and type into the filter master effects. And we can see there's 2 actions to choose from. we could bypass all the effects by toggling it, or this one, just to view it, to adjust it, or add effects to it. And by default, there's no keyboard shortcut assigned to this, but I'd like to assign one to make this quicker. So go to Add a keyboard shortcut. Of course, you can use any keyboard shortcut you prefer. So now, if I want to see the effects on my master track or my 2-bus, just hit that keyboard shortcut, and it shows up just like that, ready to be adjusted in any of the plugins or effects on this track. And if I want to close it, just hit the escape key. Keep working or mixing. If you want to view it again, hit the keyboard shortcut, and it shows up just like that. Again, hit the escape key to close it. I think that's a lot quicker while you're mixing or producing to see what's going on with the effects on the master track. Hope you learned something. Hope you could use it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bingo, boys, let's go.
The last action I want to show you, and it's definitely not the least, is how to adjust our grid size to half or by 2, or double. As you probably already know, our grid shows up over here if it's set to bars and beats. Right now it's set to whole notes, bar 1, 2, and so on. And if we have the grid and snapping turned on, it's going to snap to the nearest whole note. Or our grid, which is set to whole notes. But we can change that size by right-clicking either button, which opens up the snap grid settings. And right over here, we can change it to anything we want. It's whole notes now. We could change it to half notes. And now it looks like this, and it snaps like this to the nearest half note. And again, we could change it to quarter notes. Now it looks like this, and it snaps to the nearest quarter note. That's not the quickest way to adjust this. There's also actions to choose each specific value. So if we go up here to the Actions menu, Show Action List, we can type into the filter Grid, and there's actions right in here to choose any specific value we need for our grid. And of course, we can set up different actions for each with keyboard shortcuts, or create a toolbar specifically to change each value. But my favorite way to do this, and it's the quickest, is to use these actions right here. Grid Adjust by half and Grid Adjust by 2. Basically, cutting it in half and doubling it. So we can scroll through each one using 2 keyboard shortcuts. So for this one, I'll add a keyboard shortcut to it. I'm using Control page down, but of course, you can use any keyboard shortcut you prefer. And then for this one, to adjust it by 2, I'll use Control page up. So now, just using these 2 values, we can scroll through most of the grid sizes we need. Right now it's set to whole notes with the keyboard shortcut. Now it's set to half notes. So I can snap to the nearest half note that easily. Want to put it back with the keyboard shortcut, and it goes back to whole notes. And go as small as we want. Half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, and so on. We'll go the other direction to get back to whole notes. I just find this quicker to choose our grid size, which is basically our snapping size as well. When I switch it to quarter notes, hit that twice, and I could snap it to the nearest quarter note. So just using 2 actions and 2 keyboard shortcuts, we could choose most of the grid sizes we want. So those are the best actions that you probably didn't know about in Reaper. Hope you learned something, hope you could use it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
go.
Now right up over here in the upper left is known as the toolbar. We can hit buttons to change the behavior of Reaper. But all of this can be customized and changed. For example, this button right here will allow us to left drag to marquee select our items, like this. And the button below it will allow us to use razor editing, all while using left drag, like that. And we can turn them on and off right here. But if we make our track control panel wider, like this, where we just see one row, those two options aren't next to each other. So that's a good reason you might want to customize your toolbar to put these two buttons next to each other. So let's right click and go down here to customize toolbar. And those two options are right here, marquee selection and razor editing. If you want to put them together, just drag this one down to here. Let's delete this separator as we don't need it and hit OK. And now, these two options are now next to each other. To marquee select our items with left drag, or razor edit our items with left drag. But obviously, there's a lot more we could do. Let's right click again, customize toolbar. There's a bunch of options over here that I don't tend to use in the toolbar, like new project, open project, and save project. I tend to do that using the menus over here, or their keyboard shortcuts. So I don't need that in my toolbar, as it doesn't really provide any feedback. So I can just select them, remove them, do the same with undo and redo, hit OK. Now those options are removed from the toolbar, as I can still choose them from this menu, or do the undo from this menu, or use the keyboard shortcuts. And now we could add some more useful toolbar buttons if we want. For example, when I'm recording, by default, Reaper's going to create takes if I record over a previous pass, like this. Hit record again on top of this, and Reaper created takes, take 1 and take 2. But now in Reaper 7, we could also use lanes. But to turn that on, we have to go up here to the options menu, new recording that overlaps existing media items, and choose add lanes over here. Instead, we can create a toolbar button to do this, so we can go back and forth between lanes and takes. So let's right click over here, customize toolbar, and go down here to add an action. And we can choose any action in Reaper to add a custom toolbar. But let's type in toggle add lanes. There's an action right here that's going to toggle new recording adds lanes. You can select it here, or select and close, and that puts that option down here. Let's right click and add a separator to separate it from the other options. Then we'll add a toolbar button to this. It shows up like this by default, but we could right click it and add any custom toolbar button we want. I'll type lane in the filter, and then I'll choose this one. Close it and hit OK. And now it shows up right here. So if it's turned on, it looks like this. And now Reaper's going to create lanes. If I turn it off, it doesn't. Reaper's going to create takes. Reaper created takes, which you could switch between. Or if you prefer lanes, turn this on. We get a visual indication that it's on. Now Reaper's going to create lanes. That look like this. We can hear this lane, or we'll choose between them and comp if we want. And we'll always know which option we're using, as we'll see it in the toolbar. This will record lanes, and this will record takes. Another option I use a lot, we go to the options menu, So go down here to show effects inserts in the track control panel. If we choose this, we can see our effects right in here. Instead of having to go over here and right click to see what's on this track, we can see our effects right from here and open them from here as well. It's a bit more convenient, but it does take up space in here, so if we don't want it, we might want to turn it off, and we'll turn it off right here. But instead of going to the menu each time, we can create a toolbar button to do this easier or quicker. Just right click, go to Customize Toolbar, we'll go to Add, and we'll type into the filter, Show Effects. And right down over here is the options to show effects inserts in the track control panel. Just select it or select Enclose, shows up down here, and we could add by right clicking the toolbar button, type in effects, and I'll choose this button. Then close it and save it. And now we have a button to do that for us. Hit it, now we see our effects in the track control panel, hit it again, and they're hidden. So it's a bit quicker to do it right from here instead of opening up the options menu. And we do the same thing for sends. Go to Customize Toolbar, go to Add, type into the filter, Show Sends. There's a similar option right here to show sends in the track control panel. Select Close, shows up right here, right click it to give it a toolbar button. I'll choose this option, close it, shows up right here, hit OK. Now we have a button to show our sends. So if we hit it, we can see our sends on each one of our tracks. And if it takes up too much room, just hide it from here. See our effects or see our sends. So we can trigger any actions in Reaper using a toolbar button. Although I do find it most useful to use the ones in the options menu or the ones that have options in their name, or toggle, as they will give us visual feedback as to which option is chosen at the moment. But we could also switch our toolbar from up here. If we right click, we can switch our toolbar to any other toolbars we want. As you can see, there's 32 to choose from, and we can customize those as well. I created one for takes, which looks like this, and I can choose different takes for each item. Or another one I created for automation, to change the automation mode for my tracks. Let's put it back to the main toolbar, and we could also open it separately. So I could choose the takes toolbar that I created, and it shows up separately in its own floating window. Or do the same with the automation one, and it shows up like this. Select the track, put it in write mode, touch, latch, preview, read, or trim. But we could also position the toolbars in different places. So I can move the main toolbar to the top of the main window, and now it shows up over here. Or I could have it floating, and it floats like this. So I could put it anywhere. Or put it back in the main toolbar, and it shows up over here. So let's customize a new toolbar. I'll go to toolbar 3, which is currently unused, hit the Edit Me button, we can delete this button, and we can add any actions we want. Go to Add, let's type in Grid Set, let's create a toolbar to set a grid. I'll choose this one for whole notes, hold down Control on the PC, Command on the Mac, and also choose this one, and quarter notes, and eighth notes, and 16th notes. Select and close it, and they show up over here. Let's rename the toolbar. Hit OK. Now we created this toolbar, which we can resize any size we want, and just switch it to half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, or 16th notes, depending on what we need. And if we close it, we could open it up at any point by choosing it right here for grid size. But it's a bit quicker to open it with a keyboard shortcut, which we could do. Go to Actions, Show Action Lists, type into the filter, Toolbar, and we could open different toolbars right here. Let's do Toolbar 3, and I like to use this one. Open Toolbar 3 that mouse cursor. Go to keyboard shortcut to this. And now, at any point, if I want to adjust my grid, hit that keyboard shortcut, and it opens this up right at my mouse cursor. So I can switch it to eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, or whole notes. Just close it, and from down here, hit the keyboard shortcut, it opens it right here. So very quickly, I could change my grid size. Now if we want to reset the toolbars back to the default, just right click it, go to customize toolbar, like this.
Where's my tempo? Why am I missing things on my... Where's my tempo? There we go. How do you... Is that a hotkey to Control Alt T? I did not press Control Alt T. Wow, that's 138. Oh, no. Mm. 2 reverbs, huh? How come I can't turn the presence up? Why is the presence? Oh, 'cause it's a bass. How is one right? Oh, there it goes. Oh, I turned the arpeggiator on. Why didn't you turn it on? How do you use the arpeggiator in this fucking thing?
So it's the 2nd of May 2022 as I record this video. So here we go. As we stand today, with 18 days remaining to the 20th of May, which is when the month is up, you can now go in, buy one Syntronic synth, and you get 11 free. And that will go up the more people buy into the group buy. That's to say, assuming it's not extended. Now you do have to download the Syntronic player itself, but Syntronic CS, the custom shop version of Syntronic, is free. And that does come with some factory content. So you don't even have to spend anything. You can't glide and that empty. However, unlike Contact or Contact Player, you have access to the player section, where there is a built-in arpeggiator for a very simple sequencer with its own controls. You can set it to tempo sync to your DAW and the range over which it goes. All well and good. You know, you can sit and play. And it works. However, where I think Syntronic has a bit of an edge over some of the others is up here. Now you might think this is just the variations on the theme, but you would be wrong. So we go into there, and what you can do is you can layer 4 sounds. So if I was to go here and load another sound in slot B, I would then be layering those sounds, and I'm not confined to layering the sound from the same synth.
Okay, but how do you turn the ARP on? This? How do you make it work? Nope. Nope. Whatever that fucking page is. How do you turn it on? Arpeggiator pedal? How? Maybe this will tell me. I mean, it's on. Oh. Apparently, I'm stupid because I don't. Is that it? Oh wait, that's not what I want to do. Oh my god. The sound is not going to work for this. Nope. Isn't that what I was playing earlier? What am I doing wrong? Oh god. I thought. Okay, well that makes sense. How come that? Why are those louder? I thought I heard that earlier. I didn't know it would do that. No.